and welcome to this Zwift Run live stream. My name is Stephen. I'm a Zwift ambassador, a community run leader and your host today. There's a countdown clock up there showing how long to go before the start of the main event, so you've probably got time to tidy the kitchen, take the trash out and grab yourself a drink before we get going. If you've never seen Zwift before, it's an online game where athletes from all over the world train, compete against and socialise with each other live and in real time. All you need to take part is a foot pod, an internet connection, access to a treadmill and a device on which to run the Zwift app. You can use a computer, an iPad, an iPhone, a high-end Android device. Zwift even works on Apple TV. If you have a smart treadmill, you don't even need a foot pod, as your treadmill will send your speed direct to Zwift. Once you've logged in and made sure your equipment is connected, you can join others live for structured group workouts or social runs. You could do a solo workout or take part in one of the many in-game challenges. You could also pit yourself against people from all over the world in a race. There are various Zwift worlds. Some are based on existing places like London, New York, Innsbruck, Richmond, Virginia and Harrogate in the UK. But the biggest world is the fictional Watopia, where you can run in glass tunnels underwater, through the middle of a volcano, in a jungle, up to the top of a snow-capped mountain and on country trails. Watopia is where the Zwift developers let their imagination fly. Like any computer game, the more you run, the higher up the levels you climb and the more virtual goodies you require. If you're a regular treadmill runner, Zwift is going to transform your training. If you're a hater, Zwift is going to change the way you think about indoor running. Before we go any further, if you're watching on YouTube, please click that subscribe button and the bell icon so you're notified every time we go live on this channel. If you're watching on Facebook, please click the like button on the Film My Run page. Film My Run is also my other YouTube channel where I post real world runs, so if you're interested in marathons, ultra running, 10Ks or triathlons, you'll find product reviews, interviews and races over on that channel. I've been running all my life. I started running long distance races in 2011 when I ran my first half marathon, and that was followed a year later by my first marathon in Paris. I've run the Paris Marathon every year since and have now run well over 100 marathons and ultras. I started using Zwift at the beginning of 2015 when indoor cycling and smart trainers really took off. In the early days, I held the long distance record for cycling of 500 kilometres on Zwift for about 48 hours. And when running started in 2016, I was the first person to run a marathon on Zwift. So if you have any questions about Zwift, if I don't know the answer, I probably know somebody who does. Okay, so now you can go and take the trash out and get that drink. And make sure you keep an eye on that countdown and be back in time for the start proper. Well, go on then, don't just sit there gawping at me. Basically, this message is going to go around in a loop again and again until the start of the run, so you may as well go and do something constructive in the meantime. And welcome to this Zwift Run live stream. My name is Stephen. I'm a Zwift ambassador, a community run leader and your host today. There's a countdown clock up there showing how long to go before the start of the main event, so you've probably got time to tidy the kitchen, take the trash out and grab yourself a drink before we get going. If you've never seen Zwift before, it's an online game where athletes from all over the world train, compete against and socialise with each other live and in real time. All you need to take part is a foot pod, an internet connection, access to a treadmill and a device on which to run the Zwift app. You can use a computer, an iPad, an iPhone, a high-end Android device. Zwift even works on Apple TV. If you have a smart treadmill, you don't even need a foot pod, as your treadmill will send your speed direct to Zwift. Once you've logged in and made sure your equipment is connected, you can join others live for structured group workouts or social runs. You could do a solo workout or take part in one of the many in-game challenges. You could also pit yourself against people from all over the world in a race. There are various Zwift worlds. Some are based on existing places like London, New York, Innsbruck, Richmond, Virginia and Harrogate in the UK. But the biggest world is the fictional Watopia, where you can run in glass tunnels underwater, through the middle of a volcano, in a jungle, up to the top of a snow-capped mountain and on country trails. Watopia is where the Zwift developers let their imagination fly. Like any computer game, the more you run, the higher up the levels you climb and the more virtual goodies you require. If you're a regular treadmill runner, Zwift is going to transform your training. If you're a hater, Zwift is going to change the way you think about indoor running. Before we go any further, if you're watching on YouTube, please click that subscribe button and the bell icon so you're notified every time we go live on this channel. If you're watching on Facebook, please click the like button on the Film My Run page. Film My Run is also my other YouTube channel where I post real world runs, so if you're interested in marathons, ultra running, 10Ks or triathlons, you'll find product reviews, interviews and races over on that channel. I've been running all my life. I started running long distance races in 2011 when I ran my first half marathon, and that was followed a year later by my first marathon in Paris. I've run the Paris Marathon every year since and have now run well over 100 marathons and ultras. I started using Zwift at the beginning of 2015 when indoor cycling and smart trainers really took off. In the early days, I held the long distance record for cycling of 500 kilometres on Zwift for about 48 hours. And when running started in 2016, I was the first person to run a marathon on Zwift. So if you have any questions about Zwift, if I don't know the answer, I probably know somebody who does. Okay, so now you can go and take the trash out and get that drink. And make sure you keep an eye on that countdown and be back in time for the start proper. Well, go on then, don't just sit there gawping at me. Basically, this message is going to go around in a loop again and again until the start of the run, so you may as well go and do something constructive in the meantime. And welcome to this Zwift Run live stream. My name is Stephen. I'm a Zwift ambassador, a community run leader and your host today. There's a countdown clock up there showing how long to go before the start of the main event, so you've probably got time to tidy the kitchen, take the trash out and grab yourself a drink before we get going. If you've never seen Zwift before, it's an online game where athletes from all over the world train, compete against and socialise with each other live and in real time. All you need to take part is a foot pod, an internet connection, access to a treadmill and a device on which to run the Zwift app. You can use a computer, an iPad, an iPhone, a high-end Android device. Zwift even works on Apple TV. If you have a smart treadmill, you don't even need a foot pod, as your treadmill will send your speed direct to Zwift. Once you've logged in and made sure your equipment is connected, you can join others live for structured group workouts or social runs. You could do a solo workout or take part in one of the many in-game challenges. You could also pit yourself against people from all over the world in a race. There are various Zwift worlds. Some are based on existing places like London, New York, Innsbruck, Richmond, Virginia and Harrogate in the UK. But the biggest world is the fictional Watopia, where you can run in glass tunnels underwater, through the middle of a volcano, in a jungle, up to the top of a snow-capped mountain and on country trails. Watopia is where the Zwift developers let their imagination fly. Like any computer game, the more you run, the higher up the levels you climb and the more virtual goodies you require. If you're a regular treadmill runner, Zwift is going to transform your training. If you're a hater, Zwift is going to change the way you think about indoor running. Before we go any further, if you're watching on YouTube, please click that subscribe button and the bell icon so you're notified every time we go live on this channel. If you're watching on Facebook, please click the like button on the Film My Run page. Film My Run is also my other YouTube channel where I post real world runs, so if you're interested in marathons, ultra running, 10Ks or triathlons, you'll find product reviews, interviews and races over on that channel. I've been running all my life. I started running long distance races in 2011 when I ran my first half marathon, and that was followed a year later by my first marathon in Paris. I've run the Paris Marathon every year since and have now run well over 100 marathons and ultras. I started using Zwift at the beginning of 2015 when indoor cycling and smart trainers really took off. In the early days, I held the long distance record for cycling of 500 kilometres on Zwift for about 48 hours. And when running started in 2016, I was the first person to run a marathon on Zwift. So if you have any questions about Zwift, if I don't know the answer, I probably know somebody who does. Okay, so now you can go and take the trash out and get that drink. And make sure you keep an eye on that countdown and be back in time for the start proper. Well, go on then. Don't just sit there gawping at me. Basically, this message is going to go around in a loop again and again until the start of the run. So you may as well go and do something constructive in the meantime. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Film My Run on Zwift. My name is Stephen Cousins and we are broadcasting live around the world on Facebook, on Twitch.tv, on Mixer and on YouTube. While we're getting everything set up, it would be absolutely awesome if you could go and subscribe to the Film My Run YouTube channel and also the Zwift Runs and Rides YouTube channel. You can also find us on Facebook at facebook.com/FilmMyRun, on Twitter at FilmMyRun, and you can also go to the website, which is www.filmmyrun.com. It's very nearly time, so sit back, relax and watch me do all the hard work. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Bear with me. Just setting up chat. Morning, Jonathan. So, Jonathan, you know what we're doing this morning. There we are. Oh, I'm still... Right, there we are. Got it. Okay. Hello, welcome along. New York. We're on the New York course. So it's my what has become a regular for at least for the next 2 weeks. We'll be carrying on doing these morning elevation sessions. This is my training for Trans Gran Canaria 128k race across Gran Canaria at the beginning of March the 6th, 7th and 8th. Starts late at night on March the 6th. I'll be running all the way through March the 7th. And finishing early in the morning, hopefully early in the morning on March the 8th. So I'm training, I'm doing long weekend runs, outside, but I'm also doing these weekday runs in the mornings, doing 500 meters of climbing every morning. Well, not every morning, but most mornings. But also, a couple of times I've been trying to complete these route badges. So let's start walking. I may as well start, hadn't we? We'll just start walking. Morning, Vidar. Right. So the idea is that we collect route badges. So if we go to menu here, look, and go up to badges. And we scroll down. Look at this. So this is route achievement badges. Route achievement badges only came quite recently in a software update. Now, I used to do a lot of cycling on Zwift. As you can see, I haven't done any of. I mean, if you look at the cycling achievements. So I've got most of these cycling achievements here, but that's from 2-3 years ago now. These route achievements have only been here for about a year or so. So I haven't got any of them. But we go to running achievements. I've got all the main running achievements. But here's the route achievements, look. So I've been working my way through these over the past few weeks. John's route is about 12 kilometres. I don't want to do 12 kilometres this morning. Flat irons, I think we've got an agreement between a few of us on Zwift that we're going to run flat irons as a group run together one day. So I'm waiting for that. So I am going to do Hudson Roll today. So by the end, so this is 9 kilometres. So by the end of this run, I will have that badge there, that route achievement, which will leave just 2 left to do. So that's that. Let's just go to Garage. I've recently completed the Tour de Zwift. So in Tour de Zwift, because we've completed that, you get the Tour de Zwift top kit, which is there. So I could wear my Tour de Zwift kit if I wanted to. I've also got this New Balance kit and the Movember Challenge kit. What's that one? The Run Festival kit. The Night Owl kit. I've got my Hoka top there, which that's just a standard running shirt. So you've got all these standard Zwift running shirts, look. And depending on what level you're on, you get more running shirts. I'm wearing this Night Owl one at the moment, which I quite like. And then if we go back, you've also got some new shoes for doing it's for the Zwift Academy Tri. Okay, so I've got Zwift Academy Triathlon shoes. Because we completed the Zwift Academy Tri series. I have been wearing my New Balance shoes, so I'll carry on wearing New Balance shoes. And there's also a glitch in the system because it says we've got new headgear, but there isn't any new headgear. I keep clicking on that and then remembering it's a bug. Andrew Cutmore, good morning to you. Jonathan Cost says, has anyone told Darren Smith that he can remove his Zwift app in from the end of his name? I didn't. No, I haven't noticed that. I used to, when I did a lot of cycling races, I used to have my category after my name, and I used to just leave it there because I couldn't be bothered to keep changing it. People do ask me a lot of the time about changing stuff, so if you go up here, look. Hang on a second. Oh, no, I don't want to do that. Back. Oh no, don't tell me I can't do... Is it? Right. If you click on the little icon next to your name, the little pen icon, you can change your name here, look. Change your date of birth, your country of origin, your whether you look at things in imperial or metric measurements, your gender, your weight, your height, your weight, which is quite important, your maximum heart rate and your FTP for cycling. Most important for running is your max heart rate and your times here. And I said this last night, if anybody questions these, don't put your PR in there, don't put your personal best. Put what you are capable of doing now. Because your personal best might have been achieved 10 years ago And there's no way that you can run a 5k of whatever it might be under 20 minutes. Now, you might be a 25-minute 5k runner, so put that in, because that will make your workouts a lot more realistic and sensible, rather than, you know, if you put your PR in there and you're just nowhere near capable of that kind of time these days, there's no point putting that in there. So that's what you put in those sections there, and then you click save. Jonathan Costa says, I can't believe how light you are. Well, I'm giddy. What do you mean, can't believe how light I am? How rude. How rude. I go up to about 73. I've never been 74 kilos. Never been 74 kilos, I don't think. So I'm probably about 71 kilos at the moment. That's probably a bit out of date, that weight. But also, having said that, I have a weighing machine in my bathroom. I have a weighing machine in my bathroom, and that is supposed to send my current weight, directly to an app on my phone, which then sends it out to all sorts of other things like Zwift. But I haven't been using it recently. I need to put some new batteries in it, so that's why my weight is out of date. I think I'm probably about 71 kilos at the moment, but I'm not very tall, you see. I might have a little bit of weight on my stomach because of all the cakes and biscuits I can't stop eating. But I'm quite short, really. So yeah, I'm not overly heavy. I've never been overly heavy. Good morning, Stephen Smith. How are you? Right, I'm walking out the first 500 meters. Then we will gradually get running. Now, so we're doing 9 kilometers this morning. So I'm going to do 4 kilometers of flat, and then we're going to do 4 kilometers of climbing, and then we're going to do 1 kilometer on the flat to finish off. So this is going to take a good hour and more. Probably. So, you know, if you want to go and make yourself a cup of tea, if you're having a coffee break at work or whatever, I'm not expecting you to stick around for the entire time. Just watch for 5 minutes, maybe come back at the end and see how I've done. It's up to you. But I am watching chat. If you want to ask a question, if you want to say hello, please do. Other than that, I'll just get on with it like I always do. And then I'll go and have a lovely shower afterwards, wake myself up for the day. It is school holidays, so I am a bit later than I would normally be, because I don't have to get up early to take the kids to school. I can just lie in. The kids are still in bed. This is very slow, so we just take it very easy. I had a good old session last night on Monday Run Club. Monday Run Club was great last night. We did Group A. Lots of chat, lots of fun, but a good hard session as well. You'll notice the view is from behind. There's no camera angles today because if I put my camera angles on, it often messes with the route that I'm running, and I don't want to mess up my chances of finishing Hudson Roll. So that's the other thing we're doing today. We're doing 500 meters of climbing. So we'll bang the elevation up later, and we're doing the Hudson Roll route badge. And we are starting, I've got it on 1% elevation. The reason for that is nothing to do with making it more realistic like outside. It's simply because if I do 4 kilometers of elevation at 12%, that gives me 120 metres per kilometre. Over 4 kilometres, that's 480 metres. I want to do 500 metres. So it's a little cheat, because if I put it at 1% elevation for the next 4 kilometres, that'll give me 40 metres of climbing, which I just stick on the end of that 480, and that gives me 520 metres of climbing. So it makes me happy. Just really, really nice and slowly for the first little bit, gradually speed up a little bit. So I'll go a bit faster now. And once again, Andrew Cutmore is right, ride-ons are not coming through. So if you're dropping ride-ons for me, thank you very much. Let's give you this.
Ride on!
If you're dropping ride-ons, thank you very much, but I cannot see them, don't know why. They're not dropping. Bug in the system that I keep thinking I need to talk to HQ about. So the next time we have a meeting, or actually the next time I think about it, I can drop it in our Facebook Messenger group and let them know. They probably do know about it. I think I slept a bit awkwardly last night, so I've got a little bit of backache today. Jonathan Cost says, that's me sorted. Park to Peak route badge, then just flat irons left. Okay, yeah, so I've done Park to Peak, haven't I? Yeah, I have. So I've just got John's route and flat irons after this. So they'll need, let's hope they make some more run-only routes soon. There aren't many of them. They're basically in Watopia and New York. So we need some run-only routes in London and Harrogate. We need some off-road routes, don't we? And we need to make that one that I did yesterday, the very nice off-road trail route that the mountain bikers use in Titans Grove. We need to make that a run-only route as well, somewhere. Right, 1 kilometre done, so let's go up to 9 kilometres per hour. Just open up the legs a bit more, get started, get the legs moving, get the heart rate slowly going up. I don't know if that's right at the moment, might be a bit higher than that. So we'll do 1 kilometre at this pace, then I'll bump it up to 10 kilometres an hour for the third kilometre and 11 kilometres an hour for the fourth kilometre, and then drop it right back down, and we'll do our 4 kilometres of climbing. So it's going to be a long old session. It's going to be an hour's worth of session today, at least. Jonathan says it's a shame there weren't more of us running with Sean last night. Just 4 people running together. Yeah, I think it's a difficult time, that HQ Monday Run Club. So if you're not aware, HQ in Los Angeles have started doing these regular special edition sessions. So they've got Wednesday Workout Special Edition and Monday Run Club Special Edition. And Special Edition meaning they are hosted by a member of the Zwift HQ team. So Wednesday Workout is actually hosted by the boss of Zwift Running, Mike McCarthy. And Monday Run Club Special Edition is hosted by Sean Jefferson, who is a member of the Zwift Run team in Los Angeles. But the time that they've chosen for the Monday Run Club session is 9 PM UK time, so that makes it 10 PM European time, so it's quite late for the rest of Europe, and late in the UK as well. I don't really like running that late. I did it last week. And it's kind of lunchtime in Los Angeles, so a lot of people are still at work anyway. So it's a bit of a difficult time for everyone. That's time slot. Mike McCarthy's Wednesday workout time is a lot better, I think, 4:30 in the afternoon. So that's kind of just before work for LA. 8:30 in the morning over in Los Angeles. 4:30 in the UK is, I guess it's still not great because a lot of people are still at work over here, but it's okay for me because I work from home, so, and I can choose when to Zwift and when not to.
Jack it up.
Vidar, that is top secret, and very few people know. So Vidar is asking how many runners are registered on Zwift and how many cyclists. I can tell you that. I mean, I don't know, but there are still way more cyclists than runners. I would say for every 100,000 cyclists, there'll be 1,000 or 2,000 runners. That's my guess. And we think there are well over a million cyclists registered on Zwift. So running does have a lot of catching up to do. But it was released 3 years after after cycling started. So it's got 3 years of catching up to do. Or is it 2 years? Maybe it's 2 years. So Hudson Roll route, running round the park in New York. I've got to do 4 kilometers of virtually flat running before I slow it down and start climbing my 500 meters of elevation for this morning. So when we get to the next beacon, I'm going to bump up the speed a little bit to 10 kilometers per hour. Heart rate 160, so maybe we've got our early morning glitch. This is your cardiac drift. Often find in the mornings, in lots of runs actually, early on in the run, you will get a bit of a spike in your heart rate early on, and then it'll settle down. So it could be a real heart rate, or it could be just a glitch in the watch. But it often happens, and it'll come back down and settle in a minute. Jonathan Cost says that's a lot of subscription bucks. Yes, well, as well as all the subscription money coming in from the cyclists, there is, of course, a large amount of venture capital funding as well. So in terms of finance, Zwift have the money to play with at the moment. And they're putting that money into research and development. They are trying to slowly build a market for running and they've got the market for cycling, but they're trying to build the market for running, and they're not running into it, as it were. They're not racing to make it successful. They are taking their time, doing their research, trying to find out the best marketing angles to get running to take off. And one of the things that they're doing with the capital that they have is investing in hardware development. And if you listen to Simon Schofield's Zwiftcast interview with Eric Min, you'll hear him talking about developing hardware for Zwift And the kind of takeaway from that is that they are looking to develop a treadmill. So assuming it would be an affordable Bluetooth treadmill, and therefore encouraging other treadmill manufacturers to get on board with reducing the cost of treadmills for home users and making them smart treadmills, making them smart compatible with programs like Zwift. So I think what they're doing is, you could argue that what Zwift should do is get consoles in gyms and get people running on Zwift in the gym. But that doesn't create long-term sustainability, it doesn't create subscriptions. And what you want are people with an account, a subscribed account, who pay monthly. And your casual gym user is not going to do that, or the proportion of people will be far fewer than if you can slowly work your way into the home market and get more people buying their own treadmill and using it at home. So making that financial and therefore mental investment in their fitness and in their running and in their running on Zwift. No, they haven't announced it yet, Vidar. So a couple of weeks ago, or last week, we said that Zwift have signed a new female pro athlete to lead up some runs in Zwift. That will come in around sometime in March, I think, Vidar. We don't know who they've signed yet. But a pro elite athlete to head up a drive to get more women running on Zwift. And that should happen sometime in March, we think. Jonathan says, I don't want to see it disappear, meaning he doesn't want to see running disappear. It's not. I'm pretty sure it's not going to disappear. Even if running never fully takes off, I think there'll still be a point where they say, right, well, we'll charge a minimum subscription for runners. It's there. Running is there now. There's no reason to remove it. Even if it doesn't ever take off and reach the heights of Zwift cycling, I think, and they have plans for other sports as well. So although cycling subscriptions are keeping the boat afloat, as it were, the boat is very comfortably afloat, and so they can afford to keep running going for 2, 3, 4 years. And in the next couple of years, start some kind of subscription service. And some people will pay, So I think it will be worth it in the end. Hopefully it goes crazy and takes off in the same way that cycling has. But even if it doesn't, I don't think it'll disappear. Right, we are approaching 3 kilometers, so I'm going to bump up the speed one more time, and we'll do this 4th kilometer, and then we'll drop it right down back to walking pace and do our climbing. So there's 3. So up to 11 kilometers per hour now another kilometre. So 5.5 minutes of running will get us to 4 kilometres. Wow, Jonathan, that's dedication. I feel like if I was paying subs, I'd feel like I should get on the bike at least once a month. Just to feel like I was using my subscription. Although I suppose if you're running a lot, you kind of do feel like you're using your subscription. Andrew Cutmore brings up an interesting point. He says he joined Monday Run Club Group C last night. The others in the group were far better and should have been in Group B. So this is an interesting argument here. I have no problem with a Group A runner joining Group B or Group C if they are deliberately targeting an easier run, or if they're coming back from injury, you know, or simply if they don't fancy going out hard, or as hard as they normally would. I've got no problem with that in group training workouts. So the issue is, if you are joining, the stupid issue is, if you're joining a group workout and you join a group that is lower than your ability, so say you're a Group B runner and you join Group C for the sole reason of running faster than everyone else and, you know, technically coming first. There is no first. It's not a race. It's a group workout session. So it's pointless to join a group workout and then run off the front and do your own thing. It's ridiculous. If you're a Group A or Group B runner and you join Group C, that has to be for a reason. I'm quite happy to do that. I do that. So I'm generally a Group A runner. I will sometimes join Group C because I don't want to run fast, and I stay with the group and I do the group workout with the group. That's the point. But it's different when you come to races. Now, in a race, you should be, and again, this is about what you are able to do, what you're planning to do. So, if a race is split into groups, so it's not a Group E race. A Group E race would be everyone together. If it's a race where it's split into A, B, C or D, and you have a chance of winning that group, you should join the group of your ability. And I think Zwift recognised that, and certainly for cycling in the next few months they will be bringing in restrictions to enforce runners of a certain level to be in their correct category. Again, if you're injured or if you're not up to speed, I've kind of got no problem with you joining a slower category. But then if you go and win it by 5 minutes, that's ridiculous and it's not fair. You know, if you're coming back from injury and you're not able to run fast, then fine. It's got to be a legitimate reason. But if you're doing it just so you can win that group, then that's sandbagging. It's not fair, and you should get in the correct group. Yeah, so Jonathan says he's chilled out in Group C before when he didn't want to run at Group B pace, and that's fine. I'm perfectly happy with that. Andrew Cutmore says the people at the front of Group, was it Group B you're in? Group C, were running at 4 minutes per kilometre, so 4 minutes per kilometre is Group A speed. You know, if you're going to run at 4 minutes per kilometre, you may as well be in Group A. What's the point of being in Group B or Group C? And you may as well run with a group of people around you, rather than on your own at the front of Group C. Right, up to 12 kilometres per hour. No, up to 12% elevation. Let's just walk it out for a bit now. So we've done 4 kilometres. We're now going to do another 4 kilometres, but a lot slower. So we're going to do 4 kilometres at 12% elevation. And we're going to do the first 300 metres walking. Jonathan says he's more chilled out about the category thing nowadays, except in running the park in the league, where I get a little feisty with sandbaggers. Well, you would, because you're leading, aren't you? Are you still leading Group B? You're doing very well in the Run in the Park League. Excellent stuff. So yes, I can imagine why you would get annoyed at sandbaggers in that race. Guy says, ride on. Are you still planning on doing a review of the Run Smart Treadmill Sensor? Yes, I am. I was hoping to do it last week. Didn't get round to it. Let's see what happens this week. If I can manage to get something done, I will. But yeah, sorry about. Yeah, I mean, I am planning to do it. Thanks for the ride on.
Ride on.
Cheers, Guy. Right. Heart rate has come nicely down, so we spent 12 minutes in zone 3. Look, the yellow zone, you can see the number 12 in the yellow box there, top left. And but now we've come down to zone 2. Gosh, now back even down to zone 1. Heart rate of 119 BPM. So Jonathan is still leading Group B of the Run in the Park League. If you don't know about that, go and have a look at zwiftpower.com. So that's this website here. Zwiftpower.com is a really useful third-party tool. It is funded in part by Zwift, so they do help out with Zwift Power's funding, but it is independent of Zwift to a large degree, and they organise, or they've categorised racers, and they will eliminate people with who've reduced their weight to a ridiculous amount, or sandbaggers, weight dopers, people like that. They take them out of the equation, and they provide you with kind of refined race results. You do need to register with Zwift Power, and you also need to register with Zwift to allow Zwift Power to use your data. So you need to opt in on the Zwift site, as well as signing in, logging in on the Zwift Power site. But a useful website. And the Run in the Park League happens every Saturday, and every Saturday there are races, and each race that you do every Saturday goes towards a league. I think there are 12 races in all in the league, and your best 9 count towards your position in the league table. And obviously there will be a winner at the end in Group A, Group B, Group C and Group D. And Jonathan Cost is currently leading Group B, and his better half, Carol, is leading Group C. Well, good for you, Carol. Brilliant. Yeah. Well, Darren Smith isn't Darren Smith a sub 3 marathon runner? I don't see how he can be in Group C. Anyway, okay. Vidar, thank you for your ride on.
Ride on!
So again, I'm not seeing ride-ons. So thank you if you're dropping me a ride-on in-game, but I'm not seeing them. Bug in the system. So thank you guys.
Right on.
Okay, let's do another 100 meters of walking. So we'll get to 4.5 kilometers in, and then we'll start a very light jog. 12% elevation on the treadmill equates to 120 meters of climbing per kilometer, and we're going to get to 500 meters of elevation by the end. So we're doing 4 kilometers, and then we'll do another 1 kilometer on the flat to end the run. Okay. So we're going to break into a very gentle jog now. The avatar won't run. My avatar will only run at 6.8 kilometers per hour. So we'll get there right at the end of the climbing. But right now, we'll go up to 5.5 and start a very gentle run. And once we get to 5 kilometers, I'll bump it up a little bit more. You probably, Andrew Cutmore says, I've yet to run in Group C where we have all stuck together. It's a bit demoralising. Andrew, you probably need a group leader who calls the shots. Somebody who's kind of respected and people will listen to. And I don't know whether you've got somebody who would regularly run in Group C. See, for Group A and Group B, so Ryan Downey will usually run in Group B, and he's often the one who calls the shots, asks people to be respectful of the pace, keep together, run as a group, you know, initiating chat and making it a social experience. And the same needs to happen. Who was that flying by? Flod at 3 minutes per kilometre. He is not running at 3 minutes per kilometre. Who is 13.6 kilometres? I don't believe that. Look out for Flod. Let's flag Flod. Let's do that. Let's find him. Right, give him a flag. Flyer. There we go. So we flagged Flod. I mean, it is possible to run at that speed, but I'd be very surprised if he is. Okay, so what was I saying? I've totally lost my train of thought now. That's annoying. Oh yes, so Ryan Downey is often the person in Group B who manages that. And often in Group A, it's myself or Tim, people who kind of say, let's all stick, you know, you'll text message to the group, let's all stick together, let's try and stay together for the next 2-3 kilometers, whatever. And a lot of the time that does work, and it was brilliant last night in Group A. Yeah, Group A was really good last night. And Group B is often good. And actually, I have run in Group D when is it Kerry? I think Kerry Thomas was leading the group, or one of the girls was leading the group in Group D, and she was really good at keeping everybody focused and together, tight, and not having people run off. Jonathan says, what are you planning for the upcoming run festival? Well, I'll see how I feel, because I'm training for this ultra, I'm quite tired a lot of the time, because you're putting in so many hours and so many miles in the week. You know, you're not kind of ready for a big effort. You need some need some taper time. But I might go for a kind of relatively speedy half marathon. By relatively speedy for me, 140, 145 for the half. I might do that, we'll see. I'm definitely planning, if I can, on streaming and maybe commentating on a few races as well. But in terms of my own running, yeah, I don't think I'm capable, just through tiredness, of putting in a really hard effort. So 100 meters, you can see the bouncing kilometer marker up there, and then we'll raise the speed slightly to 6 kilometers per hour, and then it'll be 6.5, and then the final kilometer will be 7 kilometers per hour, and we'll finally see the avatar running. Relatively comfortable in zone 2, 135 BPM. Yeah, remember we had that spike earlier on, it went up to 160 something. Quite often find that early in a run with your heart rate monitor. Whether that's actually your heart rate or whether it's, so it could be something called cardiac drift. But it's difficult to know exactly what causes it. Right, here we go. Up to 6 kilometers per hour now for this next kilometer. Still 40 minutes of running left. Be slightly less than that because we are increasing pace all the time. But yeah, around about 39, 38 minutes of running still to do. Well, Jonathan, if you've done 17 kilometers on a treadmill, an extra 4 is not going to kill you. You'll be fine. Just do it nice and comfortable. You'll be all right. Depends if you want to go for a time or whether you want to complete the distance, doesn't it? So there we are, if you can see it with the reflections on the treadmill. But 12% elevation on the treadmill, so good climbing. It's as high as my treadmill will go. Right, so I think I've changed my mind. I think I'm going to go up to 6.5 when we get to 5.5 kilometers. Just try and push it a little bit further. Well, so Andrew says, how do you find a Group C leader? Well, maybe Andrew, maybe you become that leader. I think a leader has to emerge, you know, who has experience, has some respect within the group, some kind of knowledge and skills that they can pass on to the group. It's, you know, you can't just kind of pick somebody and plonk them in as the role of leader unless you have the yellow beacon, and the yellow beacon often kind of infers authority on the person simply because they have the yellow beacon, and then instructions that they give are more likely to be adhered to. But if you don't have the yellow beacon, it just has to be somebody who everyone knows, who everyone kind of in a way looks up to perhaps, or who offers some valuable insights or whatever it might be. Like I said, I just don't think you can just plonk somebody into that role and expect it to work. You know, and there are always going to be some people who fly off the front. I mean, me saying that last night's Group A was really good, there was still a couple of people who just went off at crazy pace at the front, so you can never please everybody. Or you can never make everybody fall into line, as it were. Oh, blimey, do you see that baseball guy with the mask on? That was a bit scary. Right, heart rate is 142, so we're now in the middle, in zone 3, yellow zone. So it's gradually going to get more difficult. Oh, we've dropped back down again now, but we're around about zone 3. And as we speed up, my heart rate will go higher. Right. Let's knock it up then. Just work a little bit harder. That feels kind of more comfortable in a way. I feel like I am running now. So if we do this for a kilometre, so we'll get to 6.5 kilometres at this pace, then we'll bump it up to 6.8 to get the avatar running, and then at 7 kilometres we'll put it up to 7 minutes per kilometre, 7 kilometres per hour. So 7 at 7. Hi, camera 2. You're welcome, Vidar. That's what we want to do. Just want to get people motivated to do a little bit more fitness training than they would normally do. I mean, I know I run on Zwift a lot, but we don't want people to run on Zwift every single day. We just want people to use Zwift as part of their training. If you have to run on a treadmill, if you run on a treadmill regularly, why not do it on Zwift, eh? Far more enjoyable than staring at a blank wall or watching endless reruns of Fraser on YouTube. Okay, half an hour left, and definitely working a little bit harder now. Heart rate is 147. Definitely feel like I'm doing a bit of work here, climbing this hill. 12% grade. Jonathan Cost says, can you explain what it is with you and the Barclays? It's a bit of an obsession, isn't it? I would love to do one loop. I would love to have a go at one loop. But you know, it's just, it's organising the whole thing. Maybe one day I'll give it a go, but so because I'm so desperate to do it, but I mean, you know, and the chances of getting in as well, I'd have to be particularly lucky to get in, and then it's all the cost, all the organisation, getting family over there and sorting it all out, and then training for that kind of run. Madness. But one day, if I could ever just get one loop done, would make my day, I think. In the meantime, I just kind of console myself with watching videos, following the race when it's on, and trying to interview the people who've taken part in it. Right, there's 6 kilometres done. We'll do another 500 metres at this pace, and then we'll raise the pace slightly. Tell you what, the time doesn't half go quicker when you're talking. Chatting away to you guys definitely makes it feel like it's not such a big effort, you know? How many people, when they go to the gym, how many people spend an hour on the treadmill? Not very many. Well, you know, we're going to spend an hour and 20 minutes on the treadmill today. And it doesn't, you know, it doesn't feel like a chore. It feels like hard work, but that's what we're here for. So 12% elevation, 6.5 on the treadmill, kilometers per hour. We'll do another 300 meters at this speed, then we'll bump it up. Get the avatar running. 25 minutes to go. I think the thing about the Barclays is, Jonathan, it's just such an enigma of an event, you know? You know, the kind of, the perception of it is that it's so hard to do. It's interesting talking to John Kelly, because you kind of feel like you go off out into the wilderness, and whilst you do, it was interesting that he was saying, whilst you feel like you're in the wilderness, you're actually never all that far away from some help, some people. And he said there's always an escape route, which I found very interesting. So no matter where you are on the course, there's always somewhere that you can go, which will mean it's not far to get home. No, I can't, Jonathan. I have no access to things like that, no. Jonathan's asking if it's possible for me to see the world timetable, what worlds are coming up in March. But no, I don't have access to that. Right, nearly time to work a little bit harder. We're going to do 500 metres at 6.8 kilometres per hour. And then when we get to 7 kilometres done, we'll go up to 7 kilometres per hour. Heart rate is still okay, 148, but I am feeling it now. So this last kilometre and a half is going to be a little bit tough. Okay, off we go. Runner is running. So we're now at 8 minutes 48 seconds per kilometre. "20 minutes of running to go." We can do that, can't we? Only 20 minutes of running.
Right on!
Thanks to everyone who's given me a ride on so far, by the way.
Right on!
It's so easy to get set up for Zwift running. All you need are a few things. Firstly, access to a treadmill. Either at home or at the gym, it doesn't matter what kind of treadmill you use, any treadmill will work with Zwift. Next, you need a foot pod, preferably a Bluetooth foot pod, and the most popular ones to use at the moment are the Zwift Pod or the Stride. Then simply download the Zwift app onto any of these devices. So a Mac, a PC, an iPhone, an iPad, an Android phone, Zwift even works on Apple TV. Pair your foot pod in the app, possibly add a heart rate monitor if you like, and that's it. You're all set up for Zwift running. So 250 more metres left at this pace, and then we're into the final kilometre of climbing, and that should get us to 500 metres of elevation for the day. So Zwift is free. Zwift running is free. If you want to go to the website and sign up, please do. Zwift.com/run. Get your own account and start running with us on Zwift. Just coming up to 7 kilometres now. And we are 2 kilometres away from completing the Hudson Roll route badge. Turning right in a minute. There we go. And there's the 7 kilometre marker. So we now have to speed up a little bit more for the final kilometre. There we go, 7 done. 7 kilometres an hour. And just shy of an hour's running. There we go, there's 1 hour, heart rate 153. So gradually rising. So it's about 15 minutes left to run now. When it gets to 7.5, we'll up the pace to 7.5 for the last 500 metres. Definitely working hard now. It's not necessarily the heart rate, but the legs, the aching in the legs, climbing this continuous hill. So we'll up the pace in 200 metres time. There's my bouncing marker just appearing from outside the bushes. 100 metres to go. And then we'll bump it up one more time. Hi Darren. Hope you're well, buddy. Feeling any better since yesterday? Darren's got a little bit of a sore throat, maybe a bit too much overtraining or a bit too much hard work and not enough sleep perhaps. He's not been 100%. Right, 48, 49, and up we go to 7.5 now, 500 metres. I'm running some for you, Darren. 500 metres of climbing left, and then we'll do the last kilometre on the flat, and we will complete the Hudson Roll course, the Hudson Roll group badge. And now we're back in zone 4, 158 BPM. Meters left. 10 minutes of running. You often notice when I start talking, my heart rate goes up. Simply just using more energy to talk raises the heart rate. As does increasing the speed, increasing the elevation, and also just generally the longer you run. VDAR, yes. Only if you enter a target. So that circle that is currently covered by my Zwift logo, that is your target setter. You click that, set a target, and then you'll get the bouncing markers. Right, 250 meters left now. Of running left. 150 meters of climbing to go. 150 meters of distance of climbing to go. Heart rate 160 now. Oh no, Dan's got mild bronchitis. Oh, get well soon, buddy. Okay, nearly done. Right, there's 8 kilometers. Let's do 100 more meters. Just to be sure that we do definitely get 500 meters of climbing in. Heart rate 162, really working now. And there we go, reducing the treadmill back down to flat. Minutes of running left. So back down to zero, flat elevation, no elevation at all. And this is our cool down. So heart rate should come down now, even though we're moving faster. There's Owen Casey, look. Or Ian Casey. Thanks, Andrew. Andrew Cutmore says, nice effort. And Andrew also says, get well soon, Darren. So once we get to 9 kilometers, we just have to keep running until we see the route achievement badge pop up. Okay, Darren, good idea. So Darren's just gonna jog nice and slowly to keep some fitness up. Right, let's go marginally faster for the last 500 meters, and however long it takes after that for the route achievement badge to show up. So we've done the Hudson Roll route. It is a route that only runners can do. So if you achieve it, you get a badge. This path that I'm on now is runners only. So cyclists cannot come on this path. So what's good about being a runner on Zwift is you get to see a lot more, because we can go on all the cycling routes, but the cyclists can't go on all the running routes. Two minutes to go, and then we're done. .300 meters. There is the purple marker, which signifies the end of my 9 kilometers. But it's going to be a little bit after that we get the route badge. It usually is. So here we go, 100 meters to go to 9 kilometers. And then we'll see how long after that. Keep watching the screen, and the route badge will pop up any second. Let's change the screen so you can see a bit better. There we are. And there we are. In fact, it's popped up before. 9 kilometers done. Hudson Roll is complete. And that's it. I'm not doing any more. That's me done. Quite happy with that. We'll finish on 9 kilometers for the morning. I won't be on Zwift this afternoon. Do you know what I'm going to do? I am going to take I'm going to take my 8-year-old son out on a trail run. It's school holidays, so I'm going to take Ellis onto the hills and we're going to do a few kilometres of running on the hills together. So that's what I'm going to do this afternoon. So we'll be back on Zwift if I can raise myself. We're back on Zwift tomorrow morning for another one of these. Slightly shorter probably tomorrow. I'll probably do 4 or 5 kilometres tomorrow morning, and then we've got Wednesday workout tomorrow afternoon. And I think again we'll do Mike McCarthy's special HQ edition at 4:30 UK time. So if you're around for that, come and join us. It's a good time for me, that, because it means then I can choose whether to take my kids swimming in the evening. They've got swimming lessons in the evening, and sometimes if I do the later Wednesday workout, I miss out on that with my kids. So I'll do the earlier 4:30 edition of Wednesday workout with Mike McCarthy, 4:30 UK time tomorrow. But before that, we'll be back on in the morning with a 4 or 5 kilometre elevation effort. But that's it for today. I'm going to go and have a shower, and then I'll go and have a cup of coffee somewhere. Right. Take care, guys. Thank you very much. As always, thank you for your chat, your comments. Always keeps me going, keeps me motivated. I wouldn't do half as much running if it wasn't for you guys motivating me and keeping me going. Thanks, Vidar. Jonathan, if you've been, nothing tonight. It'll be tomorrow. So there we are. All right. Take care, guys. See you soon. Bye-bye.